everybody, it's me, GhostCritic, and for those of you who have been with me a while now, you will have no doubt seen one of my video uploads back at the beginning of June where I reviewed a independent comic book by Dorsey. He had approached me with a kind of advanced preview copy of a comic called Saint Chaos, a horror crime kind of dark title, and asked if I'd do a review of it and upload it to YouTube, which of course I was more than happy to do for him. He's been a bit of a busy chap since then and has the hardcover out of the first 4 issues of Saint Chaos. He has a Kickstarter program going on where you can back this book, and however much money you put into the Kickstarter, you get kind of certain additions to the actual kind of hardback that you can purchase from him. Now, about a week ago, he sent me the 4-issue digital copy for me to have a look at and review, and that is what I've done for him. With issue 1, we are introduced to Simon Monroe, whose life you really wouldn't want to swap with. To begin with, his girlfriend of 3 months is sleeping behind his back with one of the colleagues at work, and through this Simon contracts herpes from her. This colleague also mixes cocaine into his morning coffee, and this just happens to be the day the company he's interning for is having their annual drug testing. Inevitably, he loses his job. If that's not bad enough, his mother is brutally murdered. And finally, as if all that wasn't bad enough, his own cat commits suicide by jumping out from his apartment window. Now, Simon at this point has hit rock bottom, but he can't bring himself to actually commit suicide and be done with this wicked world. So he turns to this urban legend in a fit of desperation. It's said that if you leave a dozen white roses in the park close to where a small boy accidentally hung himself, the ghost of the boy would follow you home and choke you to death. However, it's not the ghost of this boy that takes him. And it's here that we are introduced to Honeycomb. Now, Honeycomb's like a bit of a cross between the Joker and the villains of the films such as like Saw and Hostel. He's basically a sadistic torturer who at first seems to have no real motives other than to cause pain in as many cruel and imaginative ways as possible. Now, on hearing Simon's disastrous life, Honeycomb decides to free Simon, but warns him that in 4 days' time he will come to kill him. Now, on the walk home, Simon comes across a bunch of locals who are intimidating a black guy as he tries to get home. And it's here that we first see Simon, now basically devoid of any fear and safety for himself, becoming a somewhat violent vigilante who will use these last few days of his life to help others. And by the end of this first issue, Saint Chaos is born. Now, I was quite descriptive with issue 1, and that was just to get your taste buds going for this 4-issue series. The next few issues I'll be less descriptive and just give you a kind of premise of what goes on so as not to spoil a lot of what goes on, and so you can go out and buy this and find out for yourself. Now, issue 2 reveals more of who Honeycomb is, and that we find out that he's not just this raving psychopath, but is also working for what is likely to be a mob boss. Simon is having these horrific nightmares about his mother, and also takes on his first case, I guess you'd call it, which leads him to a safe house for the horoscopes. This is a violent gang in the town that takes in kids and trains them up to be kind of full members. And it's here that he finds his first lead into who may have killed his mother. And this becomes his focus for the next 3 issues. We're briefly introduced to the head of the mob, who may have connections to our main protagonist. And also we get introduced to what was the lead detective on Simon's mother's murder investigation. With issue 3, Dorsey expands the background of our mob boss, while Simon continues to investigate his mother's murder in his own inimitably violent style. And this brings us to the seedy underbelly of this town that we are residing in, a place of gambling, prostitution and slavery. This is the kind of casino where you don't actually win money, but you actually win women. And the more you win at the tables, the more debauched, the more crazy, the more women you can buy and use however you wish. And of course we have the tar pit. This is a kind of one-on-one fighting arena to the death. Inevitably, Simon, St. Chaos, is going to end up in that tar pit. Now with issue 4, it is of course the 4th day of Simon Monroe's life, and it's time to meet his date with death at the hands of Honeycomb. Of course, things don't go quite to plan for anybody at the end of this issue. There are certainly choices to be made by a number of the characters. Revenge is struck, and the connection between our mob boss, Huszka, and Simon is revealed here. And Simon is left at the end of this 4-issue run with a big decision to make. Now, it would be very remiss of me not to speak about the artwork in this book by Zsomber Huszka. He certainly has a very distinct style. It kind of reminded me of like the creepy and eerie horror titles. I'm sure somewhere along the lines that must have been quite an influence on his artistic style. I saw bits of Corbin in there, bits of Bernie Wrightson in there, and the way he constructs his panels, the way he uses colours either very minimally, where they kind of just bleed into the kind of predominantly black and white pages, or he gives you kind of like that blast of monochromatic colours, so it's either shades of yellow or shades of red. And it's just a real nice visual treat to go along with the tight storytelling from Noah. As I said at the top of this video, this is part of a Kickstarter. It hasn't got that long to go. I think there's about 10 or 11 more days to go. So if you want the chance to get yourself a copy of the hardcover, along with, you know, obviously the more money you put in there, the more kind of goodies and extras and bonus material you will get once they reach their target. So I wish all the best to Noah and Zsomber on this book. I'm really looking forward to more issues. I hope this continues and we kind of flesh out more of the Saint Chaos universe. Obviously we are left on a kind of cliffhanger at the end of issue 4, which obviously I'm not going to spoil for you. And for this book to just stop there, it would be a mighty shame not to hear more tales. So with that, I hope you check out the descriptions, the links in the description bar below. I'll link to my original video, Noah Dorsey's channel page, because he's done his own trailer for this book. The Kickstarter page, I'll put a link to that. Please go and visit that, and if you're interested at all, please donate whatever you can to his project. I'd like to say thank you very much to Noah for thinking of me yet again, and supplying me with a digital copy that I got to read myself. With that, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, goodbye.